Man, oh man, this is a disaster of a chart, right? If I didn't do as much research as I did and know the company inside out, this would definitely have shaken out the past me, right? Today I'm going to share with you a few things that I know about the company, right? And my research on TDOC and why I think it's a great buy, and I think that you'll reach a 1.450 price target by 2027. But before that, let's revisit the charts, right? Okay, I know all of you have been disappointed with the price action. Look at this. This is just insane, right? This is the weekly price action. Ever since that top at 300, we've just been dropping all the way down here, following the 10 moving average quite closely. And since then has been just a horrendous of a chart. Okay, for me, I've been accumulating a lot at the 200s, right? Then more at 150 before the inevitable massive drop again to 1/3 of the original holding. And yeah, I know a lot of you are pretty disappointed, but again, this is not the only company that's being hit, right? You see big companies like Meta, right? Massive dump to the downside, right? Meta, Facebook, right? All the way to the downside. A lot of companies have been really hit because nobody expected a war to break out. Alright, and today TDOC has a decent rally of around, let's see, I think it's around 9% plus to the upside. I was thinking of scooping some shares up at 50, but this is pretty decent as well. And yeah, let's talk about a few things about TDOC, right? So first, I want to talk about, TDOC, why is it here to stay, right? So, okay, this report I written for one of my person who is investing as well. I'm writing this report for someone else. I'm not going to disclose who it is, but I wrote this report for someone else, and it was done when the stock price was around $150. So again, a lot of the numbers here was based on the timing then. But it's interesting to look in hindsight as to where the company has progressed. And how much better, right, the ratios have been because the stock price have dropped so much, right? So look at fundamentals, total addressable market. Okay, this is very important, right? So McKinsey, right, in a study by McKinsey, TDOC estimates the opportunity for telehealth adoption to be up to $261 billion, right? And that is just a small little pie out of the $3.8 trillion in total US healthcare spending. And you can see just a small little bit of pie, right? And TDOC's revenue is just a mere fraction of that, $2 billion, right? So if, right, McKinsey is projecting this correctly, right, which I presume they have a decent estimate because they do conduct many studies, all right, this opportunity that we have is one of the biggest in a lifetime, right? And I feel that this acceleration right here and the massive adoption, when it actually comes, it will be very fast adoption, just like the internet back in those days, right? And again, then the revenues will be breaking up massively, right? So I want to highlight that the opportunity is still in its infancy and there's many barriers to entry, right? So it's not just all flowers and green stuff. With new trends, new technologies, right? You can just be looking at all the good stuff. There's always definitely regulatory risk as well, but it is forecasted to grow at a CAGR of 26% year over year. So the market itself is growing 26%. So I personally would expect TDOC being the biggest in its space. It's not just a startup, it's a massive company. It will be someone who is going to be growing at that rate, right? A huge opportunity is growing at a massive rate, will be more than 26.5%, right? And try to capture more parts of the market. So they expect the US market itself to grow a CAGR of 30%, and there's a lot of links as well there. And TDOC with its $2 billion in revenue, just capturing just merely 3% of the $150 billion market by 2026. All right, they will be doing close to $50 billion in revenue. And giving some assumptions that their price to sales ratio stays the same, which back then at $150, it was around 7-8 price to sales ratio. TDOC will be worth $50 billion in its market cap. Right, and that is 2x. That's a 2x, but I think that's a very pessimistic view in my opinion, right? And that's just ridiculous, right? Honestly, it's crazy, right? And just insane, just totally insane, right? So I definitely think that with TDOC being one of the forefront, the leading companies in telehealth, they will be poised to really take advantage of this. All right, this is one of my biggest bullish ones yet, and I think that telehealth will explode in size in the coming years, right? So three key factors that determine future market growth will be consumer demand acceptance and also willingness by the provider and ability to offer telehealth on a more regular basis. So these are many other changes as well about showing that telehealth have really been, spiked up due to COVID, but have stabilized, right? So it didn't just spike up and just pump and dump, right? Go back to the pre-COVID levels. That means, nobody's really adopting this technology at all. But in this case, right, it stabilized near here, following a base. I'm pretty sure all of you have read charts before if you are a follower of this channel, right? They are forming a strong base at 38x. So again, it was 38x more utilization than before, right? So that's a lot, right? It's again, think e-commerce, right? So once people really start to use it, it'll be the start of the S curve itself. So yeah, this last point to talk about is really high investment in the space. You can see I'm just scrolling down more because there's really way too much things to cover, so many bullish points. You can see that there's a lot of investments in virtual healthcare as well, especially the most famous one is Amazon, right? And as well as Peroc Capital, Digital Health Fund, said that, the total venture capitalist investment in the digital health space totaled $14.6 billion, right? Which is nearly twice. So again, you can see that behind the scenes, a lot of people are starting to invest into telehealth. So it's not something that's just a passing fad. There's a lot of people who are thinking that this is really, the big companies thinking that this is going to be an integral part of their healthcare system as well. All right. And I do believe that telehealth is here to stay, and it will better the lives of many because it provides access of healthcare to the underserved, and people will get it cheaper, and if they can get it cheaper and in a sense more accessible, that's a good thing. In terms of whether it's better, right? The good thing about it is TDOC is not trying to take over the entire healthcare space, which is the $261 trillion market cap. $3.8 trillion market cap. It's not trying to take over the entire thing, right? Just a small part, just a small piece to complement the current healthcare system, which is a little bit more, I would say, slow, right? And there's a lot of inefficient parts. And that's all I have to say, right? So again, at these prices, honestly, you can't really be too picky. Okay, although from a technical standpoint of view, I would definitely wait for it to form a more stable base before you add massively into this area. So again, if you want to draw it out, right, let me just doodle it out. Okay, let's doodle it out. So you want to see it consolidate, okay, consolidate here, form a stable base where the people who want to sell have already sold. Again, this is a wall, and people will already hold. And I see this is a very strong area of support right here because you see this is pre-pandemic levels, right? So if it holds this level, I'll be adding massively here to dollar cost average down. And for people who haven't opened up a position for the long term, I envy you, man. This is a great time to get some of these great companies at great prices. Right, alright, so that's it for today's video. Alright, I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, let me know in the comment sections what you think. Smash the like button, alright, subscribe, and those of you who are TDOC fans and investors, alright, do follow this channel as well. For this channel, I do more of my entire investment philosophy because I do part of my account is swing trading capital, which I do every single week. Then I have a massive chunk of my portfolio is more of long-term investments because I do believe that buying and holding for a lot of the major big portfolios, right, will be served to do better, right? If you are unless you're trading the entire portfolio, and the entire portfolio can be quite daunting to trade if your portfolio is more than $200,000, right? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and yeah, smash the thumbs up button. Again, for all of you out there, I know this is a pretty rough time, but I'm here with you guys, alright? You suffering the same thing, I'm suffering the same thing, alright? And most important thing is for you to have holding power, right? To over leverage at this point of time, and be careful, be safe, and I'll see you again in the next video.